So this is whenever like COVID-19 really started popping off, and at the beginning, like especially like in New York, when like the morgues are getting full and everybody's dying, all the elderly, and man, it's kind of like chaotic and crazy, like on the news. And being in prison, we're removed from society. So we're only really hearing about this through the phone, through emails, through letters, and from what the police say and like administration coming in, and obviously what we can watch on the news. So we see like pretty quickly, like just like everybody in the world, as like COVID's beginning to like, all right, pick up the pace and it's beginning to like rapidly spread, not just throughout the nation, but throughout the world. Like, all right, like it's kind of, a big deal. But around this time, when COVID first started popping off, I think I only had like about 19 months left. And I had just signed up for work release, and work release is whenever like they release you from prison and you go to another facility and you can leave that facility. You're still on your prison sentence. You can leave that facility and go to work daily, like catching the city bus or walking or riding your bike, depending upon how far it is. So you can save money and the state gets half that check, but to help you transition back home. It's a way to help like the incarcerated population like transition back into society, but it's also a great way for the state to run up a bag and get half your paycheck. So you can, meet that, criteria if you're eligible at 19 months or less. So I had what you call short time syndrome. It's whenever you're doing years in prison and you're like on the cusp, you're on the verge, the couple year mark of going home. Mentally, like you're so beyond prison. You're just ready to go home. You're just dying to get back to your kids and your family and just live a regular, normal life in society. So everything in prison pisses you off. The food sucks. You don't want to talk to nobody. You got what they call in prison short time syndrome. You're just disgusted with your environment in totality, and mentally you're already gone and you just want to go home. You want to make it out. You want to survive. And sadly, a lot of times that is the transition period where a lot of guys can crash out and make dumb, crazy moves, and just kind of like self-sabotage, subconsciously, their release and lose their good time, lose their gang time, and, go to confinement and get a whole bunch of DRs, or some guys sadly even catching years more, whether it be through stabbings or attempt escape or whatever it may be, because, that 19 months and less, that waiting period of whether going to work release or going home, it's like, all right, now there's a lot on your mind. You've been in prison for years and now you're about to go home. So for me personally, this is when, I had short time syndrome. And I didn't want to talk to nobody, you know what I mean? Everybody, of course, I'm still like actively involved in ministry and, making disciples and just allowing the Lord to use me to serve people and love on people and grind and preach and teach on the yard and in the dorm, and just like the average daily prison schedule and the missionary mindset the Lord had given me while I was incarcerated. But in comparison to years prior to where like, all right, this is home, like not home, but like, yo, it becomes your home. You're focused on the here and now. But now, like awaiting release is like, all right, I'm over this season. I'm ready for the next. So everything around you becomes super irritable. You get irritable, you get aggravated easily, more frustrated. And that's definitely where I was at. I was so over prison and I was so ready to go home. Plus, the girl who I was dating for like